Mason Templin kicks it back outside. MJ Collins, who last year was at Vanderbilt, played in the NCAA tournament, misses, but there to clean it up, the mayor of Logan, Utah, Mason Falslev. He did return to practice fully on Wednesday, worked out yesterday, and he is good to go. They get it into the paint for Falslev for the little floater to make it 4-2 Aggies. Shot by Templin. Here comes Utah State with numbers. They can turn defense into offense quickly. Falslev scores, but he hit his head and is holding his head as he heads back up court. Well, I mentioned Falslev is known as the mayor. Second team All Mountain West Conference last year. He is a local from Benson, Utah, to in-city rival New Orleans. Falslev attacks the rim and finishes. And in pursuit, Percy Daniels is holding his knee.
Falslev probably got fouled. What a finish through Daniels. I mean, just a lazy pass can't be made. And what a finish. And there's contact there. He has become, Falslev, we know he can shoot. He has become so good finishing at the basket. Shooting about 60% from two over the last 2 years.
And Chris, you know, he was 12th nationally in steals last year. Nearly 2.5 steals per game.
He's one of the best. Falslev is one of the best players in the Mountain West. I mean, he's expanded his game every year. He's an all-around player. And he's a very good guard rebounder. I mean, he averaged 6 rebounds a game last year.
And he's averaging nearly that this year. You know, he's such a good athlete. He received more power conference offers as a football player coming out of Skyview High School in Utah than he did basketball. But he wanted to play hoops. And that's the kind of athlete he is. 6'4", 200 pounds, a junior from tiny Benson, Utah. Grew up a huge Aggies fan, attended his first Utah State hoops game as a second grader at the Spectrum. This season average, and clearly anything more than we saw from his time at Virginia Tech.
Well, and last year at Vanderbilt. There's no, it's not in the player's handbook either. You know, seeing a teammate and friend.
Here at the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic, Falslev able to muscle his way through the defender and finish.
He's had a great first half. Has been on the attack. He's the one guy who's been able to find consistency getting into the middle off of the dribble.
Could not handle the pass.
I mean, just an attack, and you attack Brumbaugh, who's already got the one foul, doesn't want to pick up a second. Tulane obviously needs him on the floor. It's a nice job fighting through that contact, and still a tough finish.
Yeah, the defender, Josiah Moore, had his entire hand on the basketball, and yet still Falslev was undeterred. Falslev answers at the other end. The two guys who have really stood out so far this afternoon, trading three-point shots.
Well, the best player on both teams. They have both shown up in this game. And then here's Mason Falslev. That's too much space. You know, he's a nice little jab step to create a little bit more. You know, these two guards are, seeing them in person, Doug, they are bigger and stronger than you kind of get the sense on tape. I mean, Falslev's 200 pounds, well built, and Brumbaugh the same, about 185 pounds. They're both 6'4", so they have really good size for their positions.
And as I mentioned in the first half, Falslev had more college football offers as an athlete. Multiple Power 5 schools offered him, but he instead chose basketball. He originally committed to Utah. Then during his LDS mission, there was a coaching change at Utah, and he changed course to instead go to his hometown school in Logan, Utah, and it's been a marvelous marriage between the Aggies and Mason Falslev. Score, if not a great score in high school. They can score, they just maybe ask for a different role. Collins gives way to perhaps the quicker Falslev, who got the easy 2 points. One run for the Aggies.
I mean, I think that went through Curtis Williams' legs. And a killer turnover because you have zero defensive balance and you give Falslev an easy one.
Well, he is well on his way to a potential new career high. He scored 28 against North Texas last November. He's got 19 and counting. That's a season high for the 6'4" junior. 8-point lead. Brumbaugh just telegraphed that pass. Falslev was waiting for it and then draws the foul.
He's just reading it. I mean, Falslev is just reading that play. And just a lazy, careless pass.
And he thinks there are similarities with JoJo Moore. Utah State has made 8 shots in a row.
And Mason Falslev is putting on a show here in Charleston.
Brumbaugh tries to go to the other side with the left hand. Clark was not fooled. It goes out of bounds back to Utah State.
Falslev is feeling it. His defense, and, you know, again, you're in a zone. You don't need to come that far over off of that guy. He was doing it on both ends.
Falslev has leadership qualities that Jared Calhoun compares to any players he has been around over the years, including Joe Mazzulla, the former point guard at West Virginia, now the head coach of the Celtics, who Coach Calhoun has been very close with for many, many years. He says Mason Falslev has that kind of character, and the guys follow his lead.
He's also rocking an elite mustache.
Well, he's 24. When I was 24, I still wasn't shaving, so I'm jealous.
I'm still not shaving.
40 Barnes, Luke Kearney will come in. And now for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Shriners Children.
Mason Falslev, look at that efficiency. 11 of 15, and he's got 4 or 5 steals as well. I mean, he's just played on both sides of the basketball. One of the best players in the Mountain West right there.
Yeah, made the all-defensive team in the Mountain West last year while being second-team all-conference, well on his way to being first-team all-conference. 2-time Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week last season.
For Utah State and defensively for Davidson, it starts with Mason Falslev. This dude is a dog. What a dog. He's tough. He's one of the best players in the Mountain West, and he scores all over the floor. 24 points, so efficient in their win the other night against Tulane. He does it on defense, turns that into offense. He is a dynamic scorer, Doug.
Meanwhile, Falslev spins into the paint, goes back to the right hand and lays it in.
Last 2 years, he has shot 60% from 2. He is so good driving the basketball, really strong and really efficient when he gets it around the rim.
But he shoots it well enough on the perimeter that you can't just sag off him. Here he is with another defensive rebound. Falslev dribbles out.
Mason Falslev just continues the trend. I mean, you know, former football player. He's a hell of an athlete. And he shows you the dexterity, a little footstep, a little dance step in the paint.
And again, he was offered by multiple power conference football programs like Utah, like BYU, but he wanted to play hoops at Utah State. Koval's pass taken away. Falslev is one of the best at stealing the basketball in the country, and it leads to the breakaway dunk by Drake Allen.
And that Utah State had 9 steals in that game the other night against Tulane, and they converted off of those. There's Falslev. He had 4 steals, 4 of their 9 the other night. Utah State already has 6 steals in this game. They are not in a matchup zone. They are playing a matchup zone, which means they are playing really, really hard. And they are so good at reading where's the most likely next pass going, especially Allen and Falslev. Utah State had 9 steals in that game the other night against Tulane. Allen and Falslev had 7 of them. They are just always alert to where the ball is going next.
And if one of them doesn't get you, the other's going to, and they work in tandem so well. Mason Falslev with the want to, he's an absolute menace.
No question.
Here goes Falslev. Kept the pivot, let the defenders leave him, and he scores again. Only 4 points for the junior from Benson, Utah, but his imprint is all over this game. On cue, another steal.
Just so good at anticipating where is the next most likely pass going.
the relentless defensive pressure of Utah State, as always, led by Mason Falslev.
Well, a big part of their matchup, Doug, is how good they are on the ball, but so much of their defense is what they're doing off of it. And these two guards, it is a weapon to have two guards who have the number of steals that these two guards have, Drake Allen and Mason Falslev, in the 2 games just here in Charleston. What a weapon for Jared Calhoun in that defense.
Well, whatever money was spent in NIL to make sure Mason Falslev came back is well worth it. Rebound by Drake Allen. And as you mentioned earlier, Mason, one of 2 married players on this Utah State roster. He was married over the summer. His wife is Elle. And apparently, a couple of years ago, when the Utah State head coach Danny Sprinkle left to go to Washington, on April Fool's Day, Mason said to his then fiance, "You know what? I'm leaving Utah and following coach up to Seattle." I don't know how long he left her on the hook, wondering, but Elle finally figured out, or her future husband let her know, "Yeah, it's just April Fool's Day. I'm not going anywhere." And apparently Elle did not make the trip. Neither did Drake Allen's wife. But they are allowed to travel under NCAA rules for these players who happen to be married. And they do make regular trips with the Aggies.
Sharp they are and how well they have executed their stuff, especially defensively, so early in the season.
And there you see the trophy presentation out at center court. All smiles, Mason Falslev right in the middle of it.